Hey guys, this is Super Ultra Ranger here. I am so sorry I have not been doing my videos for a very long time, but I have been revising for my driving and for doing my school exams, and that would be in the way of getting through my YouTube videos. But I am back now, and now I am going to do my very first top 10 video, which will be my top 10 Power Ranger crossovers. Now, before I say the list, this is just my opinion on what I think are the best top 10s. And I will also give out some honorable mentions on the ones that are not on the list, but I still like to mention in my list. And also, I would like to point out that Fighting Spirit from Power Rangers Dino Thunder does not count. It may have had some past Rangers, but it was Tommy Oliver fighting against all three of his past Ranger forms. So, unfortunately, that was a brilliant episode, but it is not included in this list. Now, let us begin with number 10, Legendary Battle from Power Rangers Super Megaforce. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. What? That movie was spectacular! Why on earth would you think that is in the 10th spot in my top 10 video? Well, I will elaborate for you. I am not talking about the Super Sentai movie Legendary Battle. I am talking about the 2-minute fight with all the past Power Rangers helping out with the Super Mega Force Power Rangers, which I would say I did like the battle. It's just so annoying that it was only 2 minutes long and it didn't show all of its best techniques, because in the Sentai one, all the past Power Rangers managed to show up, but in the Super Mega Force one, we just saw a glimpse of all of them, but not actually see any of the real characters. Except, of course, with some of the originals coming back, like the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers, Lost Galaxy, and also Jason David Frank as the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger again, which I gotta say, I loved, in my opinion. So that's why this will be on my 10th spot. It was a brilliant battle. I just wish that they had more of a length in the program. Now, for my number 9 spot, it is Once a Ranger from Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. Now, this one is really, really good for me, because on this one, we have the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, the Blue Ninja Storm Ranger, the Yellow Dino Thunder Ranger, and the Red SPD Ranger coming back to help the Operation Overdrive Rangers fight against a full army from Motor, Furious, and even Lord Zed and Rita's son. He's there, and I loved I loved my reaction when I saw him in their episode. I loved it. And the whole part of them just showing up, just saying, "Hey guys, need any help?" I just thought that was brilliant. Kudos on that episode. I completely loved it. A two-part episode which I loved, but I did actually like the fact that Bridge, the Green Ranger in SPD, is actually the Red Ranger, because in the whole history of SPD, apparently the Blue Ranger is now the commander of SPD, the original Red Ranger is gone, and also every Ranger has gained another level, which I think is a really clever idea, because it shows them leveling up to the special next up rank, which I particularly love, in my opinion. Say what your opinions are in my comments below. But in the whole episode altogether, not my favorite top 5, but it was still a very good episode, showing one of each Power Ranger season coming back. I do love that. Now, for my number 8 spot, it is Drakina's Revenge from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. In this episode, Drakina has returned. Duh, knowing from the title, has returned and is now sucking the life force of people she captures with her ghoul army to get her into her green form again. And it's only up to the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers and the Lost Galaxy Rangers to come together to stop Katrina from sucking up the life force of every single person on Earth. Which I gotta say, That's a lot and a lot of hassle just to get back into your green form, which originally you didn't even like, and now you just want it all over again. Honestly, that Drakena, she really changes her opinion very quickly. Now, for the reason this one is not on the top of my list is because this one had some of its bad reviews. It focused too much on a little girl from the program, which I understand because this was her family that was kidnapped, and it was her that got the Rangers to stop Drakena. And some say they may not like the idea, but for me, I think that was a good idea to do that because then it would just not make any sense on why this little girl's even in the program. But I thought it was kind of sweet. It showed that the Rangers are committed to help out everyone, even a little girl's help to find his parents, which I gotta say is very, very sweet. Now, at my number 7 spot, we have Ranger of Two Worlds, the crossover event between the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers and the Power Rangers Zeo Rangers. Now, true fact, this is actually the very first Ranger crossover we get in the whole history of Power Rangers. Now, I do like this episode, but for me, I wasn't actually sure if this counted as a crossover because yes, it's another Power Rangers, and yes, they are part of the Ranger universe, but they're from another planet, and I didn't think that was going to be counted in my list. But when I got some good comments on saying yes, that does count as crossover, I put it in. But this is also why it's not in my top 5 spots. It's just I thought this one was not technically a crossover, but I've been told otherwise. It is a crossover, so who am I to judge? I still think it was a brilliant episode, and it did introduce the crossovers of other Power Rangers that we have today, all because of that very first episode, and I respect that very much. Now, at number 6, we have History or Wormhole Power Rangers SPD. Now, I have mentioned 2 episodes here only because 2 Power Rangers have a crossover in the same Power Rangers series. In Power Rangers SPD, Emperor Grum is trying to stop the Power Rangers from being made, so he goes back in time to destroy the Power Rangers Dino Thunder Rangers. But the SPD Rangers learn of this, so they travel back in time to stop Emperor Grum from destroying the Power Rangers Dino Thunder Rangers before he can. And then in Wormhole, Zeltrak, surprise, surprise, Zeltrax comes back and tries to stop the Power Rangers Dino Thunder Rangers from protecting the Earth, and the SPD Rangers actually help out to stop Zeltrax, because if you see that episode, you'll see why they needed help, because there were so many armies in there. I didn't think it was going to be possible, but it did, and it was a brilliant and, I gotta say, well quoted episodes. I've mentioned both of them together because Dino Thunder and SPD had a crossover twice, hence why they're both on this list. Now, for me, I liked the episodes. They were very humorous and they were well done and everything, especially having the 2 Battleizers together. Brilliant, simply brilliant. But I just feel like there was some other crossovers that were better than this one, hence why this is on my 6th spot. And now, it is time for my top 5 videos. At number 5, we have Thunderstorm from Power Rangers Dino Thunder. In this one, the Power Rangers Ninja Storm Rangers are taken controlled by the return of Lothor. Lothor has returned and has been given the 3 power coins that the Ninja Storm Rangers used to morph, but he has sabotaged them and made them all evil. And once the Rangers then morphed to stop Lothor, they were completely under Lothor's control. And the Dino Thunder Rangers learnt this and had to fight all the Ninja Storm Rangers, including the armies of Lothor and Mesogog. And I gotta say, it's not an easy fight when you're facing against the Ninja Storm Rangers, who, by the way, in the final episode of Ninja Storm, fought against an entire army of Lothor's monsters. And I gotta say, for Power Rangers, that's completely badass. And once the Dino Thunder Rangers then broke the control of the Ninja Storm Rangers, both Rangers then teamed up to stop Lothor's and Mesogog's attack on the Earth, which I completely loved, because again, they had both the Battleizers at the end, and they shook hands to mate up, and they worked together to stop both teams, which I gotta say, I love that very much. Now, the reason this one's on my top 5 spot on the list is because technically they didn't actually stop Lothor this time. Lothor was actually stopped by Mesogog because Mesogog and Lothor had a falling out. Those two fought at it, and Mesogog managed to stop Lothor and, you're not gonna believe this, trap him in a jar. Yeah, a jar. That's why Lothor's not really the best bad guy in all Power Rangers, but I'll get to that in my next video of top 10 Power Ranger villains. But for this, that's why this was my top 5 spot, because it was a good fight and everything, but the ending, I would have had it a different way. But hey, that's just my opinion. At number 4, we have Time for Lightspeed from Power Rangers Time Force. In this one, Ransik has stumbled upon some demons coming back to stop the Power Rangers from ever making the future. And Ransik likes the idea of that, so they team up. And the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers have learned that the demons have returned and team up with the Time Force Rangers to stop them. And for me, this one was completely brilliant, because we had the team up of both the Time Force and the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers, who are both technically in the police column, which I love, and also the introduction of the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers coming back. I liked that because Connor, the Red Lightspeed Rescue Ranger, he's always been a personal favourite of mine. And the whole battle altogether, loved that. And the whole, them just showing up at the last minute just to help the Rangers, I gotta say, well timed. But you could have come in a bit earlier, seriously, dudes. Come on. At my number 3 spot, we have Reinforcements from the Future from Power Rangers Wild Force. In this one, the Mute Orgs have descended upon Angel Grove and have teamed up with the Master Org to destroy the Earth. And in this one, in the future, the Time Force Rangers learned of their presence, that they're going to change the future. So they go back in their time machine to travel back in time and to stop the Mute Orgs from destroying the Earth by destroying the nuclear power plant. Nuclear power plant. It's always a power plant. So, for this one, I actually really enjoyed it. The Power Rangers team up was fantastic because it showed each of their qualities together. They may have not teamed up at first because, you know, Stubborn Eric and Stubborn Tori. Well, not Tori. What the heck am I talking about? The Yellow Ranger. Seriously, those two. They can get at each other so much. Even for a stinking driving ticket. Honestly. Unbelievable. But when they do team up, I like that very much, because at the very end they then have a big party and it just showed how much fun the Rangers have after a good battle that their victory has won. Also, it By the way, just before I say this, this is a spoiler alert. So if you want to stop this video and watch the episode before I tell you this, you have been warned. Ransik comes back. That's right. The Mute Orcs are so powerful, they need to team up with Ransik to stop them, and Ransik actually helps them because he has learned he was mad with power and that he is going to help the Rangers in any way he can to forgive himself from his mistakes. And he does, and he actually turns back into a normal guy. His mutant powers is completely gone. He's just an average human now, which I kind of liked because it showed the evolution of a completely berserk bad guy to turn into a humble man, which I gotta say, I didn't think that was possible. But hey, what am I gonna be complaining about? It was brilliant. I loved it. I just was annoyed that Merrick, the Lunar Wolf Ranger, wasn't in it as much. But hey, when you got things to do, you gotta go and do it. So, I'm no judge here. At my number 2 spot, we have To the 10th Power from Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. Now, this one, I gotta say for a fact, this was actually my very first Power Rangers episode I've ever watched in my whole lifetime. And I gotta say, I am so glad I watched that one first because that really got me into Power Rangers in the first place. I mean, the return of the Psycho Rangers and the Power Rangers in Space Rangers and the Lost Galaxy Rangers teaming up to stop them, I completely loved it. And I loved the fact where the Power Rangers in Space Rangers actually come back just after they stopped the bad guys from destroying the whole Earth and completely, like, the whole universe. And I gotta say, I loved every single minute of it, from the part where they awaken the Psycho Rangers all the way up to the part where they fight them, destroy them, and then obviously they would have that cliffhanger where Psycho Pink is actually alive. And then we have the power of Pink, which then the next episode will be obviously Psycho Pink returning. And I won't say anything about that because that's not. Well, actually, it does technically count as a crossover, but I have not officially watched it, as in I have been so busy I have not had a chance to watch that episode yet. But I will definitely say I am looking forward to it, and I am told that at this moment it's supposed to be one of the saddest moments, which I gotta say, for Power Rangers, ooh, that is going to be hard on me. So either I will be looking forward to it or not. Depends how I feel when I'm ready to watch the episodes. Now, before I say my number 1 spot, I'm going to name out some honorable mentions. A Friend in Need from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team up with the Masked Rider to save his homeworld and to free the slaves from captivity. True Blue to the rescue from Power Rangers in Space. The Blue Turbo Ranger comes back to help his fellow teammates. They may be new Rangers, but he still is there to help out on his old team. Shell Shocked from Power Rangers in Space. They teamed up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's right, the TMNT have teamed up with the Power Rangers to stop Astronema from destroying the Earth, which obviously would destroy pizzas, and that's when the turtles are not happy. Always a Chance from Power Rangers in Space. The Mighty Morphin Black Ranger Adam comes back to help out his friend Carlos from having doubts that he feels like he's not a ranger. But you may need to remember he was the Green Turbo Ranger before leaving the Ranger universe, and he knows exactly how he feels, and it's up to him to get Carlos's confidence back on becoming a ranger. Now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, my number one top 10 crossover episodes of Power Rangers. And that is number one, Forever Red from Power Rangers Wild Force. Yep, that's right, Forever Red, the best Power Ranger crossover ever to be made. You all saw this coming. You've got to admit you would have loved that episode as much as I do. All Red Rangers from Mighty Morphin all the way to Wild Force team up to stop the resurrection of the Machine Empire and also to stop Serpentera from descending upon Earth. Serpentera, Lord Zedd's Zord. Loved it. I completely loved the fact that all the Rangers came back, and when I saw that first scene where I saw Andros, the Power Rangers in Space Red Ranger, I gotta say, I loved that very much. And when it showed the Wild Force Rider for the first time and only time, I gotta say, I would love to have a motorbike like that. And I'm sure you guys would have loved one as well. And facing up against Serpentera and surviving it, yet in the final episode of Power Rangers Wild Force, it gets destroyed with one hit. I don't know what they were thinking there. I mean, you've just been from a fight with Serpentera and you just took one of his beams head on and you get destroyed by Master Org, which is nowhere near as powerful as Serpentera, which I might add, Serpentera is so powerful he could destroy an entire Earth with one blast. I mean, come on. And when they showed that Jason David Frank, aka the Power Rangers Red Zeo Ranger, is the leader of the team, I had no surprise there. I mean, he is definitely one of the greatest Rangers. Quote from the actual episode, by the way. And when I loved the ending part where they made fun of Tommy, I loved that because it was so funny. I mean, just hearing the comments and everything, and also when TJ, the Power Rangers Turbo Ranger, says, "Did I ever tell you guys about the time I got stuck in that giant pizza?" I loved that because that actually did happen in one Power Rangers Turbo episode. Another quote which I loved very much so. And the whole fights between the Machine Empire and the Red Rangers all together, I completely loved it because it showed all of the Rangers' key elements on how to defeat the Machine Empire, and also the whole parts where all the Rangers get to fight off against Cogs in the Unmorphed fight. I love that very much because when you just look at them all fight, you just remember them in their absolute glory, which I completely loved in my opinion, and I'm sure you guys will as well. Well guys, that's it. That is my top 10 Power Ranger crossovers. Now, before I go, I have made this video very special because today is actually the Power Rangers' 24th birthday. And I gotta say, well done Power Rangers. You've survived 24 years and you've had a 30th anniversary. And I gotta say, without Power Rangers, I don't know where I would be because Power Rangers has helped me a lot in the past. And I gotta say, I am so glad I have watched so many Power Rangers in my time because you just gotta love those guys. It shows you that no matter what happens, you'll always help the Earth in your own special way. And I find that very happy about the Power Rangers. And before I sign off, I just want to say this. Happy birthday to all the Power Rangers! This has been a Super Ultra Ranger production. Please subscribe to my videos and always be in touch to watch my next videos coming soon.